going to do this acquisition, and some of the board members were nervous about changing the CEO, and one of them said to me, Jenny, how do you feel about being CEO of this combined company? And I said, you know, I think it's a really difficult time in the asset management industry, but I am highly motivated and very excited. I have a lot of ideas of things that we can do. And so I walked out with my CFO, and he said, great answer, showed strength. And then I got a phone call that I had created a gender divide in the board. I had created the gender divide because the women liked my answer, but some of the men felt like I wasn't really a team player, because I should have said, I'm really excited to work with the executive chairman, Greg Johnson, and I'm excited to work with the CFO, Matt Nichols. And what was crazy about that is they were genuinely trying to do what's right for the company. I don't think anybody had a conscious bias around it. But one is, I'm pretty sure there wasn't a man who was going to answer the question that way. And two, that it was suddenly my issue. And they had this data point that I had exceptional followership, and you don't usually get followership unless you're a team player. So it was one that was really kind of personal around, and I had to sort of work through that with the board around the biases that can happen. But also, great message on why it's so important, if we're going to have more women CEOs, that we have more women on boards, because there can be a certain connection that becomes important.
You know, that's very important that you brought up those two issues. I want to understand from you, Jenny, why do you believe we don't have enough women? I mean, there's barely a handful of women running financial services companies globally. I mean, Citi's just about managed to get a woman, you know, at the top. EY has managed to get a woman at the top. Why is it that we still have so few women in leadership roles across global companies?
You know, I don't think there's any easy answer to it. You know, look at my career started 34 years ago. So you have to look at the pipeline back then and what was going on, and it was certainly different. I was fortunate. My mother had 7 children and then went back to Stanford Medical School and became a doctor. That was pretty unusual. There were only 10 women at Stanford at the time that she was there. So I feel like I was really fortunate to have this role model. But the pipeline's really important. And so number one is you have to get the pipeline of women into the system to be able to promote. And two, you know, we can ask ourselves, there's a whole bunch of reasons why women fall out along the way, and I think we need to understand those. You know, again, I actually also think in the finance business, I was reminded by my daughter when I asked the question. I have 5 kids, 3 daughters, and I said, hey, are any of you going to join me in this business? And one of my daughters said, no, Mom, I want to do something that helps people. But it was a really enlightening moment, because I thought, you know, we've got to describe this business in such a way. I'm like, we help people all the time. We help people with the most, you know, important goals in their lives, but we don't describe it that way. And then if we can start to describe these careers in a way that resonate with women, then we're going to attract more women into it.